I mean, we could have
Thank you.
a DJ to play some music, but all those other shows, I mean, the whole weekend, people have been DJing 24/7. So maybe we can just talk a little bit, see maybe if somebody somewhere might learn something, might get some the information they need.
Yes. So what I'll say is, this is not just the election. This is I call it the Normandy landing. If you remember the Second World War, you know, the effort, the Normandy landing that stopped the Hitler movement, you know, the Nazis.
Exactly.
This is our own Normandy landing, where we have to stop a movement that will change America as we know it. And if you consider America as a global leader, so we're not just looking at change here in America, we're looking at a global change. Because what's happening here, whether it's climate change, whether it's civil rights, whether, you know, so many things that we do globally, America has been the police, you know, the police policing the rest of the world. So whatever happens in America eventually trickles down to the rest of the world. So this election should matter to everyone, whether you are in Timbuktu, whether you are down in South Africa, or in Nepal, or wherever you are. This election is very, very important. But you asked a good question. Did what we saw in Georgia a hamburger of things to come? Well, I hope not. But I fear I fear I may be wrong, because if you notice what happened in Georgia, people in minority communities had a hard time voting. They had to wait 6 hours, 7 hours lining up. I think the last person voted at midnight. And there were a lot of issues, they said. One, they introduced a new computer system that failed. And it almost seemed to fail in Black communities, in minority communities. The other issue was polling stations. I don't know whether it was deliberate or an oversight. There were fewer polling stations in minority communities. So which meant people had to wait for long hours. So my question is, should we expect that in November? The other big question is, a lot of people voted by mail. Now, it would make sense if we switch from voting in person to voting by mail. We'll have enough people ready to count the ballots. Apparently, many election boards did not prepare for that fact. We saw what happened in Georgia, and we also saw what happened. It's not talked about a lot, but in Pennsylvania, they went for days without knowing who won the election. Now, these are states that should not, that will determine the election, especially Pennsylvania. So we cannot have people in Pennsylvania counting ballots for 2 weeks. I can imagine the outcome of that, and what would be going on politically. Winston Churchill said, those who fail to prepare to fail. So I think either they were unprepared and so they failed, or they deliberately, and I hope not, they deliberately created a situation where the system would fail. So in a way, as to cause voter suppression. So it worries me. And it worries me mostly because in America, I think the Republican Party controls, 34 states where they control the legislature and they have the governorship. So the Democratic Party already starting at a disadvantage. And then if you add the states that have a Republican governor, who then has a lot of control over the election board, you realize we have an uphill task. With Democrats retaking government, have an uphill task. So it is incumbent upon us to really work between now and November to pressure our government, our local authorities, because they say all government, all politics is local. Yeah. So I would ask every person to. So the only way to do this is to slowly change the local officials to vote. You have to get people to the voting booth. You have to talk to your friends. I told somebody the other day, it's not enough. He said, oh, I'm going to vote. I'll make sure I vote. I said, it's not enough that you vote. If you don't bring 10 other people to vote with you, people who would otherwise not vote, we're not going to change anything. And I remember in the last election, Barack Obama warned us. He said, everything is on the ballot. Healthcare, education, civil rights, police brutality, everything was on the ballot. Now it's on the ballot right now. Immigration is on the ballot. As we are all distracted with police brutality, as we are all distracted by the demonstration in the streets, the Trump organization, his presidency, and Steve Miller, who writes his immigration policy, is gutting the asylum process. I mean, by the time they're finished, the asylum process would be completely decimated as we know it. People are being deported without going through due process. People are being turned back against international conventions, and nobody is asking any questions. I don't hear anybody asking any questions. If they are, I don't know who they're asking it to, because I don't hear anything. But these policies affect minority, people of color the most. People running from violence, people running from drugs and everything like that, who are qualified to get asylum in the United States, are being turned away. So we're going to find out later, if the government changes, that there were a lot of abuses, and I hope those who do it are held to account. But none of that will happen if we do not vote. None of that will happen if we do not drag people we know, our friends at work, our fellow countrymen who are able to vote, to show up and vote. One of the things I like about Biden, we've had a lot of presidential candidates with all these ideas about how to change, why we should vote. But the one thing about Biden is that he came up, the first day he came out with a commercial, he said, this is a fight for the soul of America.
That is the quote I was looking for.
That's what he said. This is a fight for the soul of America, because he knows Donald Trump is an existential threat to America as we know it. He has remained razor focused on that fact. And that's why, and I want everybody to understand that this is a life and death fight on the ballot. And it's going to be trench warfare. This is a fight to the death, because if Trump comes back to office in November, I guarantee you America will not be the same again. I mean, America will never be the same again. So much has happened in the 4 years. But you give him another 4 years where he's unfettered, he doesn't have to worry about another election, and he will definitely put in another Supreme Court judge, and he definitely will fill all the remaining judicial appointments. He will fill them and they're filling them with people who are in their 30s, so that they're lifetime appointment, so that they can be there for another 50 years. So America will be completely, I almost feel like I'm living in the 60s, in the 50s and 60s again, because I'm not even sure how far back they intend to roll us if they have the power to do it. And I saw a quote today that really scared me. It says, by Jack Campbell, he said, you lose things gradually, then suddenly. So that's what's going to happen. We are slowly losing democracy, and then suddenly we will lose it. So we're going to wake up one morning and realize we don't live in a democracy anymore. But because it's gradual, nobody has hit the panic button at this point. But I'm here to tell you, we should be hitting the panic button now. People should stop what you're doing. People should change their priorities and say, nothing matters if you do not vote in November, because it's going to affect everybody. We love to work a lot. As you have seen with the COVID response, it has affected everybody. Immigrants the most. When America fails, immigrants suffer the most.
Exactly.
Yeah, immigrants suffer the most.
We catch the brunt of it.
Yes, because now they're even justifying COVID to turn people back. They are justifying COVID to deport people without due process. They are using COVID to justify not renewing people's work permits, because they're saying, Americans don't have jobs, so we can't afford to be giving people work permits. So they're going to continue using this crisis to make Americans suffer the most, immigrants suffer the most. So it is up to us. It is up to us, because we can't hide. Here in Baltimore, we have a huge voting block. Mm-hmm. I have said this before. The county executive here in Baltimore County won the primary with 17 votes. Those votes, most of them were from Kenyans who voted that day. I remember people sending me a message on Facebook asking, who should I vote for? And I said, oh, don't forget, vote for Johnny O. For Johnny O, vote for Johnny O. He won by 17 votes. Those 17 votes put him on the map. And then the next thing you know, he won the county executive. And Baltimore County is a sanctuary county, which means when you're in Baltimore, nobody's asking you for your papers. You're treated the same. The police don't ask you that you stop whatever you're doing. You come out. Let's stop the carnage. I'm going to use Trump's words. Let's stop this carnage on immigrants, on black people, on sick people who are afraid that their healthcare will be taken from them, on students who are being exploited through loans they will never be able to pay. They cannot afford to pay, on the housing department that has been gutted under Dr. Kasson, where discrimination now has become the policy of the existing government. So I could go on. I mean, there's a long laundry list of what's happening. A
lot of stuff going.
Yeah, but he's doing so much that my head just reels when I think about it. Yeah, it's hard to keep up with it. But I believe that the next president will be Joe Biden, someone I trust. I hope he picks a good running mate who represents his values and who will put him over the top. But we cannot lose the next election. Decency. The next election is about decency and the soul of America.
The soul of America.
Wow.
Yes.
All right. We went from Georgia to the White House really fast. Another thing maybe you forgot to mention, or maybe it's included in Stacey Abrams. She was running against that governor from Georgia. They stole from her. So methinks that election over there was orchestrated. Like, they set it up. There's no way they could have people, not voting for 6 hours. And people over there, if they saw what was going on, they need to, like you said, talk to their congressman, talk to whoever the elected officials are, and vote. So the word of the day here is vote. Mike Mogo here as our guest. Welcome to Radio Maju. And like we say, if you have a voice, say something. That's why we have this platform. If somebody else needs to say something and they want to put it out there, let's talk about it. Thank you so much, Mike, for that. We bring back Uncle Dennis. Uncle Dennis, so you had that kachumbari that
yes
made you blow up in the UK.
Oh yes.
Before we wrap up, maybe you can just give us a quick hint of how the Black Lives Matter movement is being accepted in the UK. I see a lot of riots there. I see a lot of actually across Europe. So we were thinking it's only an American problem.
No.
It's an African problem, but now it's also a European problem, and I think it's a global problem right now that we need to be addressing.
Like what Mike said, especially there's a saying in Europe: if America sneezes, we catch the cold.
Very true.
Okay.
Yeah.
So this weekend there was a lot of rioting here. The Black Lives Matter did one yesterday. They did some, especially in the very small areas of UK. I mean, even me, I was shocked. In a very, it's not even a black community live there, but they all stood up and said, enough is enough. We're human beings and we need to be treated with equality, with respect, and as a human being, So it's not only UK, because there's a lot of black communities here, but places like Denmark. I mean, Switzerland on Saturday, Geneva. I mean, wow. Very few black people live in Geneva, but they stood up and they say enough is enough. So we are more scared Trump will come in. I think Trump is not even good when it comes to the environment. With world peace, he doesn't give a damn about what's happening away from America. I think most Europeans here, especially UK now, we are out of Europe. We don't know whether we're going to go with Biden or Trump. Definitely Trump is a no. But again, it's down to the Americans to do the right thing. It's down to the Americans to do the right thing. We just have to watch from far, hoping the right thing will be done. It's just crazy. It's crazy.
It's crazy. Yeah.
Every vote counts. Every vote counts.
Exactly.
Thank you, Dennis Mwakulua, all the way from UK. Once again,
thank you for having me.
What was the quickly the ingredients for the kachumbari?
Kachumbari, nguru kachumbari, swordfish kachumbari. And use nguru as a seasoning. Because if it's too much, then the whole house will smell.
Okay. So lastly, I'm going to take it to Mike. Here on Radio Maju, we talk about the state of the diaspora. So as of this Monday, what do you think the state of the diaspora is? So much going on. And another thing, I listened to my favorite TV show, Rachel Maddow. She says, don't watch what they are saying, watch what they're doing. And you put it out there very clearly, like they're doing a lot of stuff that people have to pay attention. So the state of Maju right now is shaky. They just killed another black man, and right after we buried another one. So what is briefly as you can, the state of Maju?
Well, State of Maju and I think we are actually in a very good position, because we're in a position to tip things in the right direction. We are well positioned. A lot of us they're hardworking. We are in positions where we actually have economic power. We have the numbers definitely to impact, races in our communities. Mm-hmm. So politicians always say, never let a crisis go to waste. Exactly. So we should use this crisis right now to rise up and wield our power, and cash in our power, political power, to effect the change that we need. If we fail, history will not judge us kindly. But we have no excuse. The numbers are there. We have economic power. We are educated. We are well positioned. We are in all aspects of community. And if we want change, we can be that thing that turns things in our direction.
All right. Thank you so much, Mike Mugo, all the way in Baltimore. I'm your host, Blastmaster G, and this is Monday Maju, every week on Monday Maju and 24/7 on RadioMaju.com. Dennis Mwakulua in the UK, Uncle Dennis, and Mike Mugo here in Baltimore. Thanks, guys, for coming through. And as we wrap another episode of Monday Maju, I say asante sana and shukran. Stay woke.
Thank you so much, George.
Cheers.
Thank you, Dennis.
Cheers, Mike.
Okay, friends, let's connect.
Definitely.
Now welcome everybody to the Wild Wild West. The shows that's untouchable like Kelly and Ness. From New York to London, we bring you the best. The originator, pepper put me to the test. I see a skill, I'm cool. Huvunjika goo, listen up. Weka mikono juu, show ni majuu. Ndani ya gari, angalia juu tu. Ni mawingu, kata pingu. Tunapaa, up tunapaa. Far away, huko overseas. Lakini sisi bado ni mabis from the east. So sit back, relax, and take it easy. Yo, welcome to another episode of Maju. I'm your boy O-Genius plus Master G. Wax, twende kazi, stay tuned. Tunapaa. Remember, you're building His image and likeness. God is love and love is God, and God is in all of us. So bring out the G in you. I'm your boy O-Genius, Blastmaster